Swift blockchain and Axelar, the root black outline.
Nice segue. I'm glad you mentioned the Plaid and Andreessen Horowitz. One thing to kind of keep in the background, guys, is there's a lot of kind of interconnection with all of these guys. And Andreessen Horowitz, you could tell that he and Draper are boys. They did an interview together on Boost VC, which is Draper's son's VC platform. He had a podcast that he ran for a while. You can check it out. It's a Boost VC podcast, and he interviewed his dad and Mark Andreessen. So Max just talked about Andreessen Horowitz being involved with Plaid, and keep in mind that with Swift, we have a payment system here. So again, relating JASMY and relating Swift to payment, you can see that Draper's kind of trying to get payment going here, right? He's connected to so many different blockchain exchanges. He's an initial investor in Coinbase, initial investor in Gemini, and an initial investor in tons and tons of other exchanges. Like, I did an entire show on just exchanges that he's invested in, and I only got to a few of them, and I'm sure I missed some, right? So ultimately, understand and think that the goal is everything is going to be converted from fiat to crypto, okay? And these things like Swift, like a JASMY, are going to be integral in payment, okay? Just wanted to let you guys know that in the background. And when we bring things like Swift and Axelar into it, we also hit the whole thing about interoperability, okay? Everything is going to interoperate, and tools like XLR, tools like Cosmos and the Cosmos blockchain, tools like Swift are going to help for that to happen.
As you guys also know, I did that coverage about Stellar and Axelar, so I think this is great. I mean, to bring this to you guys as well. A lot to be mentioned when it comes to Axelar. I feel as though it's very, very obviously underrated.
For sure it is. It's definitely underrated out here.
Got that up? Let's go ahead and pull that up. Here you go, sir.
Okay, and this is just referencing a show that Max did a couple days ago, Soroban and XLR, and how they're going to deliver secure cross-chain. And if I can just go to this here, I know Max played this. We're not going to play it today, but basically it was an interview with one of XLR's top engineers, how Soroban and XLR will deliver secure cross-chain communication for Web3. And then later on, Max let you guys know about how Draper University and Stellar were going to team up together and make projects for Soroban. And again, we know that Swift and Draper are highly related. If we come over here and go to Swift's website here, you can see Swift Blockchain is a platform that allows users to trade, invest, and transact in cryptocurrencies. Established in 2017, the company has the backing of renowned investors Draper Dragon and Node Capital. So Draper Dragon is one of Tim Draper's investment arms. And you can see they have tons of different cryptocurrencies and blockchains that they support. So if we scroll down here, one of the things I want to call to your attention is they do a great job of letting us know some information, but the biggest information is what they do not list on here, actually, okay? So one of the things they don't list on here is Stellar, okay? They do not show that they support Stellar Chain. One of the things they do not list on here is Cosmos. They do not show that they support Cosmos Chain. But one thing I would like to note here is if we look at the tokens they support, they do support XLM. It's right here, if you can see that. And then let me go. They also support Atom. So given that they support those things, you could kind of think that any Atom token, Atom is Cosmos, by the way, y'all. Any Atom token and any XLM token, they should support that. So, and we'll get into this a little bit more later. And here we go, showing that they support Atom, which is Cosmos. one of the things that we really want to look at is their X, because in their X, Swift follows a ton of different tokens, and I would believe that if they're following that token, they probably support them. Okay, um, so we've made that connection, right? So now let's do this. Let's make the connection from XLR to Swift. Okay. One of the things that we want to keep in mind, I'm going to reference my guy on Underdog Research, his channel again. Let me see. Do I have it up here? I should. Okay, here it is. Here. So he told us with MetaPath, right? MetaPath is basically Swift's NFT arm, if you will. Okay. Definitely come
Sorry,
over
buddy.
here.
We don't see that.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you.
No problem. There you go.
Here we go.
You see it now.
So
Yep.
MetaPath is Swift's NFT arm. And like I said, definitely come over to Underdog Research Channel and check out this video, Swift Coin, Complete Billionaire Blueprint. He has it in bite-sized pieces, but if you just check out the full plan, it's 2 hours, but I promise you, it's the best information you have on Swift out here, right? I'm going to full screen this here. And what you can notice here is this is talking about Shima Capital, and Shima Capital has 200 million that they ended up investing in MetaPath, right? And you can see some names involved in here. We see Dragonfly Capital, Bill Ackman, Animoca Brands, OKX, Marana Ventures, Republic, and Andrew Wang, among others. But we're going to focus here on Dragonfly Capital. Okay. So there we have a connection there. And if you didn't know, one thing I also want to kind of point out to you, sharing this tab, this is information on Draper Fisher. I'm going to say Jerviston. This was another one of Draper's venture capital firms. And this will show that he was a seed investor in some of the biggest companies in the world, one of which that we want to focus on is Coinbase. Okay, so yes, Draper was an initial investor in Coinbase in 2014. Another thing that I want to kind of point out, since we mentioned Plaid and different things like that, there are connections with Plaid and XRP and XLM. There's also connections with Plaid and Stripe, okay, and all of those guys, Jed McCaleb, Peter Thiel, all of PayPal type mafia. Well, there's other connections with Tim Draper there, in that Tim Draper was an initial investor in Tesla. He was an initial investor in SpaceX, and he was an initial investor in Twitter. So there constantly seems to be this kind of connection with Elon and Tim Draper. So could he have been an initial investor in PayPal? I don't know, but we do continue to see Draper connections with Coinbase, with Stellar. So there's a lot of connections here with Tim Draper, and he continues to be a central person to follow for me when it comes to cryptocurrency. Okay. So now we have a Coinbase connection. So keep in mind here, we got the Coinbase connection, we got the Dragonfly Capital connection with MetaPath. MetaPath is Swift's NFT arm. Now let's take it from there. Okay. So if we go to XLR, and we're going to go to the funding rounds of XLR. So these are the funding rounds and who actually funded XLR. Okay,
Hold on a
so
second, buddy. That screen is
okay.
not up. Yeah.
Jeez, I keep forgetting that. Thank you.
That's all.
Thank
No,
God.
no, I'm glad I'm here with it. Yeah.
Right. So now we're going into who actually initially funded XLR. Okay. So they got funded to the tune of 113 million. So that definitely tells me that this thing, I think, has a bright future in front of it. We could go into a lot of things about how the X is a big theme in this year, and you can go into the whole esoteric part about the X, but I won't go into that today because that might confuse people. But let's just stick here with the funding. Okay, so one of the biggest funders here, Polychain Capital, Coinbase Ventures, and Dragonfly Capital. So here, if you go down to investors and backers, we see Polychain Capital, Coinbase Ventures, Dragonfly Capital. Now, I would tell you that all of these have relations to Tim Draper. We already saw the Dragonfly Capital from Underdog Research's video, their relation to MetaPath and how MetaPath is intimately connected to Swift. So now Coinbase Ventures, since Tim Draper owns part of Coinbase, he was an initial investor in Coinbase. Coinbase Ventures is basically a venture arm that he partly owns. Okay. And then if we look into Polygon or Polychain Capital, what we're going to notice with Polychain Capital is it was started by, you see here, the firm's founder, Olaf Carlson Wee, was
Sorry,
the
buddy.
first.
You're going to have to flip it to that one too.
Oh, God. Thank you.
No problem.
So what we noticed about Polychain Capital, this is their funding. The firm's founder, Olaf Carlson Wee, was the first employee at Coinbase. Okay. So again, there's another Draper connection with Coinbase. But who were the lead investors here in this firm? Polychain Capital launched in September 2016 with $5 million from 30 investors. USV led Coinbase's Series A, and Andreessen. So here we are with Andreessen Horowitz again. Okay, so here we are, Andreessen Horowitz. Here we are, Polychain Capital being partially funded by Coinbase and ran by the first employee at Coinbase. Like you can't even make this stuff up, bro. Right? So largely, if we look at Axelar and its top 3 funders, they're Draper connected people. Okay.
You need to pull up that one too.
Okay. So if we look at XLR and its investors, we see that its largest 3 investors, Polychain Capital, Coinbase Ventures, Dragonfly Capital, are Draper connected folks. So boom. So that's the connection here that we want to make here. We got the connection with Soroban and how XLR is saying that they're working with that. And we also have the connection here with XLR's investors, Polychain Capital, Coinbase Ventures, and Dragonfly Capital. So now, okay, have we completely connected Swift to XLR? Well, let's go to XLR's. Whoops. Okay, I know I'm not showing right now. Let me get this situated here.
It's all good. As you're pulling that up as well, I mean, this is great, by the way. Solid research as usual, Rue. I know it's in the comments. Yeah, you're welcome. I know it's in the comments. Corey Beebs, he was saying Polychain Capital also helped Caspa. Interesting.
Really? Very interesting. Thank you, Beebs. I'm going to have to look more into that. So let me put that down. And okay. So we see XLR Network. Deutsche Bank selects XLR developer as partner in joining the project Guardian in Singapore. Definitely check out my video. So definitely check out my video on Draper and all the different exchanges he's connected to. He's connected to tons of exchanges in Singapore. And like we've said, like Swift is really heavily involved in things in China and that side of the world. So again, that connects XLR to Swift. But here's a more direct connection. If we go to XLR network and we look and see who's followers I know as far as XLR network is concerned, Swift blockchain. So I highly believe that Swift and XLR can interoperate. They just do not tell us that because they don't necessarily want it to be known. But yes, Swift is following these guys.
I'm glad that you brought up the whole thing about Project Guardian because you have the Monetary Authority of Singapore (MAS), and they're part of that mix. And a while back, when I was even doing the quant coverage, talking about, like, for example, a central bank marketplace, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They sit on that panel. You get what I'm saying? And then now you got this with all these connections. I do think it's a big deal. And, shout out to also G. He says, don't skip this message, so we won't. He says, Coinbase has crypto's top investor, Tim Draper, backing, and top machine AI learning, Dr. Gurtha, over 200 patents, individual as chief of AI and CryptoSwap, which, you have Swift coin. He says Dr. Gurtha is from Silicon Valley, graduated from UC Berkeley, similar to the geographical and field background to Tim Draper, and of course, Swift blockchain.
That's huge. And thank you, G. G always comes over and shares great information on Swift. That's humongous. And if you guys have done, if you've watched my video, Tim Draper, Crypto Silent King, definitely check that out. Draper's dad was integral in setting up Silicon Valley. So there's a lot when you look at Draper in reference to California and things that happen in California. Like the Draper family is humongous there. I'm gonna have an upcoming show on that, but yeah, the Draper family is humongously involved in California and Silicon Valley. So like, yeah, that's just huge info. You cannot understate that.
Absolutely. G says, thanks for reading his comment. You think this is going to help out research? Guys, this is what it's all about when I post these things on X and I say, come join our community of research enthusiasts. So, like, if you have a solid comment, why wouldn't I not read it? I actually welcome that. A lot of times it's just like, so and so said hello to so and so, and that guy says hello to this guy, which is cool. But I like the deep dive research that people like you do. G, that's awesome. I'm gonna read this as well. B says, yes, Casper really didn't have any VC connections, however, but Polychain Capital was involved. Great job, you guys, tonight.
That's awesome, guys. And one thing I want to show you too while I'm here, let me pull this up. So here's the Draper Dragon portfolio. They have some of it on here on cryptorank.com. One of the things they do not show two of the things they actually don't show in the Draper Dragon portfolio over here is they don't show Swift. And we already showed you that Swift tells us that they're in the Draper Dragon portfolio, but they don't show it here on this site. They also do not show Thundercore, which Thundercore is shown on Swift site, but it's not shown here. So one of the things that they did, if you come over here and type in Draper, they added some extra Draper. It used to only be like these, like 4. They added Adam Draper. They added Draper Gorin Home, and Draper Gorin Home is the ones they're behind Casper Labs. So Tim Draper is an initial investor in Casper Labs as well. So Draper Roundtable, Draper University, Draper Startup House. And I hope if we go over here to Draper Gorin Home, you'll be able to see that Casper Labs, not only Casper Labs, which, okay, yep, they list it, Onera. And Onera was in the news recently with Arcanix and Hedera, right? So we like, you cannot understate Draper's presence in cryptocurrency. Like, how many things have we named now on top of Swift? Coinbase, Gemini, Casper, Caspa, Onera, Axelar, Polychain Capital, Dragonfly Capital, connections with Andreessen Horowitz. Like, the list goes on, and on. Okay. And when you take into mind, you keep into mind that his father was really integral in the start of Silicon Valley. Like, now you can see that his son's being really integral in the entire start of cryptocurrency. So that should really, really make you enthusiastic, and in the whole realm of follow the money. Like, who's bigger money than this guy? I truly don't believe there's anyone else.
Yeah, I would agree with you with that comment you said like about a month ago, where you said that Tim Draper on paper $2 billion, but in reality, when you look at all the stuff he's tied into, so much more than that.
Oh, it's just tons.
Yeah.
And and some of this you have to look into his son's portfolio. Let me see if I can bring it up. You got to look into his son's portfolio to actually get some of the things that, like, even totally that they're in. Okay, they only show Zap Chain for this, but if I can go to Boost, I think we went over this once before, but this does beg sharing again here. So this is the Boost VC portfolio. And if we go to About Us here, just so you guys know and see that Adam Draper's the guy that runs this. So there you are. Now if we go back to the portfolio, and this will show you actually some of the Singaporean exchanges. So this is good that we make a pit stop here. Okay, so we got Agrin, that's huge. Of course, Bitcoin. And in this particular fund, Draper exited Coinbase, but Coinbase is in like every one of his funds. So only in his son's portfolio has he actually exited, but in the other ones he still has them. So let me see here. So here we are. Coin Haku, buy and sell digital assets in Singapore and Malaysia. Okay, there we go. Coin
There's your
Enter.
MAS connection too. That would make sense that the Monetary Authority of Singapore was posting all that recent news. Just throwing that out there. Anyway.
Oh, really? There we go. So yeah, that's exactly what we're connecting it to. So there, like, so here's another exchange here. Here we go with CoinNut, the most secure cryptocurrency exchange platform, Singapore. Okay, so there's two right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to point out some really kind of big ones here. Decentraland, Ethereum, okay, ETHScan, Gemini, which we talked about before, right? Filecoin, big in Asia. Ledger, Monero,
Yep.
right?
So your proof of works. We just talked about, for example, Corey Bibe was talking about Caspa. So to have another proof of work in the mix.
And here's actual proof right here, Polychain Capital, right? So here
There
it
you go,
shows.
Corey. Boom. There you go, Corey. There's your Polychain.
It shows that they're an investor in Polychain Capital, even though it did not show us here on, on the CryptoRank.com. Here's another also kind of VC firm they're involved in, Protocol Labs. Another big one here, Polkadot. Go down here. The block, they exited that one, which is Square, Zcash, Unstoppable Domains. So I think those were the biggest ones.
We have a correction. G says he didn't mean to type Dr. Gurtha. He meant Dr. Rajarshi Gupta. So it's all good.
Gotcha.
You know, it's okay. Glad you stated that the right way. You know, sometimes girth can be a typo. All right, back to the topic.
So if you bring his son's things into view here, you see that we got some even bigger ones, and we definitely made the connection here with these Singaporean exchanges. So the biggest exchanges in America, Coinbase and Gemini, and I don't know, I don't know how big these are in Singapore. I think they're just kind of getting crypto infrastructure set up over there, but here we are, right? So yeah, I think that's big.
Absolutely big. Real? The last word, sir. It's been great having you on, by the way.
Again, thank you guys so much for having me. I hope I earned a follow and a follow from you on X and on YouTube. You guys are always a welcoming community. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate the fun that we had with a couple of the names and stuff there. It's always good fun coming over here. Thank you guys again for having me.
Some of you guys ask what cold storage solution I use. I use this, and it is the Decent wallet. All right. I also, of course, have a ledger like this. All right. You can get a discount basically from going into the affiliate link, which is in all the live video descriptions and recorded and so on. And for the yahoos that are out there, they're like, this is just a shield. And, we'll fix point this out. And it's a great point. Were you aware that you don't necessarily get a discount link just going straight to the site? No, you actually have to go through a platform like this. So how cool is that? I don't think anybody's complaining about that. But anyway, use the link, get a discount. There's another one here. If you're the type of person you want to get one for you and your significant other, you could get two of them. They actually have another promotion, which is this, and I think this is cool. You can get an all-in-one card wallet plus backup card package. Interesting. I thought that was cool. And again, one of the main key things I like about the Decent wallet is not having to do the red tape of jumping through all the hoops for XDC and the custom folder. I mean, Edward Vincent can vouch on that. Some of you guys can too as well in regards to ledger. That was a pain in the butt. You don't have that problem. You literally open up your phone, it's on your app, track everything that's going on, right? And saying goes, not your keys, not your crypto. You know the drill. Check it all out though if you wish to do so. It is truly the cold storage solution that I use for the most part. There's still some on ledger that I kind of split it up on it and so on. So it is what it is. But if I have preference over one, I'm going with this one. A lot easier to use and so on. And some people, even to this day, still ask me which one I use.